Alright, what's up everyone, I'm Loki, and Josh Gordon has signed with the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks have brought back Josh Gordon. Very good news. Everyone kind of expected this. Josh Gordon has said multiple times on social media he wants to go back to the Seahawks. He's hinted at it a lot. The Seahawks have said that they'd be willing to bring back Josh Gordon, and it's official now, and that's definitely really good news. I thought it was going to be much more expensive than it was, but it actually ended up being relatively cheap of a deal, which is a good thing for the Seahawks, of course. And we're going to get into that in a little bit, but first, hey, if you're watching this video, apparently there's an 80% chance that you're not subscribed. So if you are watching this video and you're not subscribed, might as well go ahead and click that subscribe button down below. It'd be very cool. I'd be super thankful. But if you don't, that's all right. But if you like watching the videos, might as well subscribe. It'd be super cool. And yeah, shameless plug, subscribe. But now, obviously Josh Gordon, there are a lot of reasons why the Seahawks should have brought him in. He knows the Seahawks scheme. He played with them last year. He did pretty good last year. Honestly, he had some big plays. Didn't really get to show out too much because he got suspended again. And obviously there's a chance that, him being suspended will lead to him having more suspension this year. Obviously he has 2 more games to do. And we don't know what the reinstatement is going to be because they signed him back before the reinstatement. I'm a bit late on this because I've been doing schoolwork to try to get ahead before 2K comes out tonight. And, there were reports yesterday saying that Josh Gordon is expected to sign with the Seahawks. And I was like, yeah, kind of expected. But I didn't get any news on his reinstatement, so I wasn't really, looking at the news things. But it happened a long time ago. So, not to actually get into it, obviously, here's the tweet. Josh Gordon from Ian Rappaport has signed back with the Seattle Seahawks on apparently a 1-year, and he will get around $1 million. I mean, when I was talking about this, I was assuming that this would be like a $5 million deal because obviously Josh Gordon's really good. He's going to probably be a good wide receiver 3 option if the Seahawks want to play him there. But now the Seahawks have a ton of options. They have Josh Gordon, Philip Dorsett, Paul Richardson, and obviously they still have Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. So the Seahawks wide receiver group is going to be very good this year. But Josh Gordon, a 1-year deal, obviously that was expected. But for $1 million, and I don't think it's guaranteed to be $1 million either. So that's super good for the Seahawks. Definitely a very good deal for them because now it still gives them the opportunity to maybe sign Jadeveon Clowney, which as we get closer and closer to the season starting, I believe 10 days before the Seahawks' first game, 1 week before the first game of the NFL season, Jadeveon Clowney is going to have to sign somewhere because if he doesn't sign, I don't know if he's going to get signed. He might be just playing the long game, waiting to get signed, midway through a season when a team's dealing with injuries. That's a possibility that people have brought up. And honestly, I don't know what he's going to do, but maybe he will actually end up getting signed later on in the season. But if he wants to get signed before the season starts, I feel like he doesn't have too many options now. He's not going to be able to learn a new scheme. He's going to have to go to either the Seahawks, go back there, or go to a team who has a similar scheme as the Seahawks. And, I think maybe he might come back to the Seahawks, might go to a team later in the season, but the plays that the Seahawks are making with these contracts, with these wide receiver 3 options that are definitely good options, they're making plays to still have the possibility of signing Jadeveon Clowney because Paul Richardson, $1 million deal, almost nothing in cap hit. Josh Gordon, apparently another $1 million deal, almost nothing in cap hit. So obviously that still leaves the door open for Jadeveon Clowney, and that's definitely a good thing for the Seahawks because everyone knows the Seahawks really do need pass rush help. And their pass rush, there's definitely potential for it being good, but if they want someone like Jadeveon Clowney who can come in and actually, kind of have a guaranteed impact, maybe not get all the sacks, but will have an impact getting double teams. Everyone knows Jadeveon Clowney, he had an impact. His stats weren't great, but he would definitely be a good player to bring in. But really, I think, people are kind of questioning that why would the Seahawks sign him before reinstatement? Like, why would they put him under a contract and give him money before they know what kind of, penalty he's going to have for whatever I think it was marijuana and PEDs maybe. But they don't know what he's going to get suspended for or how long. So why are they giving him money? But I don't think he's going to be suspended long, if at all, because obviously he still has that 2-game suspension that he has to continue from, I think, last season. So he has 2 more games guaranteed that he has to, be suspended. And I think maybe at a max he'll get 2 more weeks. So that'll be a 4-week suspension, which isn't that much. He'd still be able to play 75% of the season for $1 million. I would definitely take that if I was the Seahawks. I would definitely take that. That's definitely a good deal. And honestly, I think the reason the Seahawks got such a good deal on Josh Gordon here is because they signed him before he got reinstated. If he got reinstated and he kind of had the bargaining chips of like, hey, I'm going to be playing 12 games or I'm going to be playing 14 games and you give me this much money, the Seahawks, they probably used that. They were like, hey, look, we don't know how many games you're going to play. You don't know how many games you're going to play. we'll give you $1 million. And he was like, sure, fine. You know, that maybe that's how it went down. I'm not sure. I assume the Seahawks have to know something about the reinstatement if they are willing to give him a contract without him being reinstated. But I definitely think the Seahawks signing him before reinstatement is probably what led to this being such a cheap contract, because I assumed this would be like $5 million, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. But, you know, this being $1 million and that Paul Richardson deal being $1 million, very good wide receivers brought in, and really no risk at, you know, losing Jadeveon Clowney or the possibility of signing someone else before the season starts. Now, of course, I've said it multiple times. I think that Josh Gordon would be a good pickup for Seattle, and I still think he is a good pickup for Seattle now that he is picked up. I'm glad that they got him for much cheaper. I would have been fine giving him $5 million on a one-year deal, but they got him for $1 million, like the bare minimum. So that's definitely really good in my opinion. I think he can come in, be another option at wide receiver 3. Now, the Seahawks, I mean, their wide receiver group is going to be great. Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, obviously 1 and 2. And then when it comes to wide receiver 3, they have Philip Dorsett, a burner. They have Josh Gordon, who is very athletic, can make great plays. They have Paul Richardson, who has made some pretty crazy catches in his career. He has the potential to make some big plays, and it's just a very good situation for the Seahawks offensively and defensively. When it comes to skilled positions, the Seahawks are good all around. It's really the offensive and defensive line that the Seahawks are struggling in, but, you know, potential for the defensive line to do a little bit better than, you know, people expect. They can probably do pretty good if all the players perform well. The offensive line, who knows, you know, maybe they'll do better than they have before. You know, if Russell Wilson gets sacked less than 40 times, it'll be a success. I mean, it's not good in the slightest, but under 40, that'd be like the best since his rookie year. So honestly, I'm looking forward to this season, especially with Josh Gordon. You know, Paul Richardson coming back, a very good familiar name. Bruce Irvin, good familiar name that the Seahawks have brought back. Josh Gordon will be fun to see if he can actually, you know, play the entire season, not get suspended for smoking weed or doing drugs or whatever he gets suspended for. You know, I think the NFL has become more lenient on weed, so I think he'll be fine. But overall, I think this is a very good signing, and like the Paul Richardson signing, I mean, very good wide receiver 3 potential option, and for very cheap, around $1 million apparently. I mean, that could be wrong. I might be interpreting it wrong, so I don't know. I think it's $1 million on a one-year deal. I think that's great, but let me know down below in the comments what you think. Are you excited about this signing? I know a lot of Seahawks fans are. I definitely am. I think for how cheap it is, I'm super excited. I thought a $5 million deal would have been what would have happened, but $1 million, I will take it. That still leaves the possibility for Jadeveon Clowney if he wants to take a smaller deal than he is asking for right now, if he gets desperate before the season starts. You know, there's a lot of possibilities for the Seahawks left. They've been doing very good getting these wide receivers for very cheap, and I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the signing of Josh Gordon. I was happy with Paul Richardson. I think we're doing good. But, you know, like I said, let me know down below in the comments what you think about this signing. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the videos. Like if you enjoyed the video. Go subscribe to my second channel. Like I said, I'm going to be playing a ton of 2K tonight, and I'll probably try to get some videos up probably every other day. And, you know, go ahead and subscribe to that. With that, I'd like to thank you for watching. Have a great day.